The year 2022 represents a number of challenges to the Jewish state. I spoke with author and Middle East expert Joel Rosenberg in our Jerusalem studio about what he feels is the top threat facing Israel this year.
Well, 2022 is starting off with some very serious threats, right? If you look worldwide, or if you've just started here in Israel, right? Israel is both fighting a war currently and preparing for another. They're fighting the COVID war. The rates, because of Omicron, are off the charts. The highest record numbers every single day of new infections. Fortunately, they all mostly seem more mild, right? As people are seeing around the world. That's the war Israel's fighting today. But they are preparing for a potential mother of all regional wars, and that is a possible preemptive strike on the Iranian nuclear facilities. There's more talk, as you know, as you've been reporting here on CBN, more talk of Israeli military forces preparing for these type of strikes, and a growing sense that there may not be any other way, that Iran shows no interest in cutting a good deal, or maybe any deal, in the Vienna talks. I can't find a single Israeli official that will tell me they have any confidence that the Biden administration would take military action to neutralize the Iranian threat, which is putting an enormous amount of pressure on the Israeli system to get ready. It may have to do it. I hope not.
So as we look forward to 2022, we're left with the legacy of 2021 in the region. One of that is the pullout of the U.S. from Afghanistan, which weakened the U.S. And now we see that Russia is building up forces on the Ukrainian border. How important do you see that development?
The crisis with Russia doesn't immediately affect Israel at the moment. But under Vladimir Putin, he is amassing, we think, upwards of 140,000 Russian troops on the border of Ukraine. And by the way, that's not that far away from the Baltics. The Baltics, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, these are NATO allies under Article 5. If Russia goes in there, then the NATO treaty would be triggered, and the United States and all the rest of the NATO forces would have to go to war with Russia, or the entire NATO system collapse if we don't, rescue those countries. Ukraine is not a NATO ally. Ukraine desperately wants to be a NATO ally, a member of NATO. And the US and the other countries have shown interest in how can we work together. And the Russians, Putin is really drawing the line, saying if Ukraine gets any closer geopolitically, diplomatically, militarily, economically with the West, we're going to invade. They might invade anyway. So this is a huge crisis which doesn't immediately directly affect Israel. Why is it important? It's important because it's a test of Biden. What's happening is because of the failure of Biden to be and look strong in Afghanistan, the fact that he surrendered to the terrorist Taliban regime in Afghanistan means that every other enemy in the world is saying, well, if Biden can't handle the Taliban, what can we do? What could we get? What could we take that we didn't think was possible under Trump or other previous American presidents? What I'm watching right now is the idea that Putin thinks that he can go get part or all of Ukraine, or possibly other countries in Europe, at least look like the strong man in the region and get everyone scared of him. China is threatening the possibility of an invasion and a seizure of Taiwan. Iran is moving towards breakout capacity for nuclear weapons. I mean, if you just took those three, all three of those worst case scenarios, Rosenberg novels, could happen in 2022. That's how dangerous it is right now. That's what happens when an American president displays weakness. This is not the Reagan-Trump peace through strength model. This is weakness begets danger.
Alpha.